Hi everyone, Scorp here. I'm doing a deck profile, probably like the millionth time I've covered insects, but this is meant for, so if we were to ever do PvP in this game, I think the rules should definitely be no Riryokus. I think you're gonna probably find that you'd settle on some amount of deck cost as a limit. If I put the limit at 1,000, this is the deck that I'd probably bring to any fight, or any one-off fight. But if you're not doing a one-off fight, like if you were doing more of a Hearthstone type setup where you bring like 3 decks, this would be probably one of the decks in the lineup, and then I'd bring something to defend it. Because reptiles have a deck leader ability to just kill insects, although this deck kind of actually can deal with that. So I'm going to go through the deck and why I made the choices I've made. So Perfectly Ultimate Great Bluff is deck leader, literally any insect over level 5, just because I want the plus 500 attack to my insects. There's mostly insects in this deck, but there's a lot of other stuff too. Don't really care about the weakened enemy type, but just a good enough leader. Yeah, don't need to go overboard on leader here. Really, the key thing in here is to just make Jiraigamo really strong, which we'll get to in a bit. Of course, 3 green kappas and 3 eye armors. These cards are absolutely ridiculous, and it brings the variety so that reptiles don't just absolutely demolish you. Also, this deck isn't mostly insects. This deck has a lot of other cards in it, but a lot of these cards will just become big threats, and these are great at copying and becoming bigger threats by themselves, which is wonderful. Next up, 3 Jiraigamos. You know what Eye Armor and Green Kappa hate? Jiraigamo. This card completely hard counters all of these, and these cards are some of the best in the game. Jiraigamo also counters like Arsenal Bug and a whole bunch of other cards that buff cards, or that buff themselves or get buffed by other cards. Like, people keep saying that Mystical Elf is so insane. Well, you put a Jiraigamo in your deck, and like, it's literally impossible for Mystical Elf to ever win. So like, this card is absolutely ridiculous. For 33 deck cost is a 2200 attack beat stick with your leader power is 2700. If you've managed to change the field to forest, it's a 3200. If you're on forest, there is almost no card in the game that can actually get over this. You kind of just have to kill it with like an effect like Maneater Bug or Swordsman from a Foreign Land or something. So that's just how good this card is. Next up, 3 Maneater Bugs. This deck needed an answer to stuff like Jiraigamo. It also needs just an answer to your opponent just making something real big that you don't want to deal with, or your opponent plays something you just don't want to deal with. Maneater Bug is a great out to most of those. It's even the better part. Cards like Stop Defense don't even work on Maneater Bug, because you attack into this thing and it doesn't matter, it's a flip effect. It does mean that if it gets attacked twice, yeah, you're going to take a whole lot of damage because this thing's weak, but you kind of need this effect in your deck, so that's why there's 3 of those here. This is one of the main reasons that I've chosen insects as the main core of this deck, is that these 6 cards here are insanely strong. And so that's the first 12 monsters, and we've had really good stuff so far. Next up, these are the weakest cards in the deck, by far. If you need to go, like if you're playing on a really slow field, like I'd imagine that there's probably, I'd probably be putting like probably 5 Labyrinth tiles in the middle of the map, with all normal around it, so there'd be 1 in front of your deck leader, and then a row of 3 right in the center, and then another one right in front of the other person's deck leader to slow people down. So Larva Moth would actually be kind of good on a field like that. If you're playing on a completely empty field or something, probably sub these out for literally anything else, like some spell or something. Curse Breakers would be great here. Megamorphs would be fine. But Larva of Moth, it's just extra threats to go late. You could also change them to Time Wizards to fuse pupas if you wanted to. But Larva of Moth is definitely the weakest card in this deck, but I mean, it still is a perfectly ultimate great moth for 25 deck cost, which isn't terrible. But then you have 3 pupa moths, which are just absolutely insanely strong. You play one of these first turn, and then you have a 3500 attack beat stick. It's absolutely great. Really, another insanely good card for insects. And then Arsenal Bug. It's really good that this got nerfed to 7 summoning power instead of 3. This card's broken. But 3 of these is absolutely just wonderful in insects. These cover your need for forests. I still have a forest in the deck, just in case, but these are insane. And this deck doesn't really have much summoning power issues because, besides Dragamo, all of this stuff is 3 or lower. I would assume we'd continue with the 3 summoning power regen. I'd prefer to start the second player with 7 summoning power. That would probably make the game pretty fair. But yeah, this card, absolutely ridiculous. Next up, Triple Jowls of Dark Demise. Continuing with that theme of trying to diversify my creatures. So I have a bunch of warriors up here, and then I have these 3 immortals. Jowls of Dark Demise, absolutely great for stalling, great for, you can take control of your opponent's big thing and then hit him with it. Absolutely ridiculous. Jowls of Dark Demise almost assuredly goes for 1 for 1. Usually it goes 2 for 1. So absolutely great card, and really low deck cost for its amazing effect. So next up, a forest. This is just in case I don't draw Arsenal Bugs. I wanted a 4th chance, so it's a 1 in 10 to draw a forest instead of like a 1 in 13, basically. So really good. It's also a spell, so I don't have to use summoning power on this, which is great. Next up, Heavy Storm. Clear out that back row when you're going for lethal. Completely unmatched effect. Soul of the Pure, always good to have a little healing in your decks just in case. Change of Heart. This card just, it's a win condition. Like, and I could fit 180 cost card in the deck, so I figured I'd put in Change of Heart. Mimikat's great here. There's so many really strong cards, but with the 1,000 deck cost limit, I limited myself to just Change of Heart. Change of Heart, your opponent's doing something you don't like, you can take their really big annoying thing and swing into their face with it and then run their card over with another card to kill it for free. Change of Heart usually goes 1 for 1 or just says I win the duel on it in its text, so really good. Magical Neutralizing Force Field removes, this thing has so many good effects, it's insane. I can't believe it was 10 deck cost in the base game. Still too good at 25, but you know, gotta include at least 1. Don't include more because we have triple Dragamo to give its main effect. But this is also another way to get rid of mirror walls and other annoying cards. Next up, Stop Defense. This is, so if your opponent's playing one of those really obnoxious decks that just plays like 3 Man-Eater Bugs, 3 Blast Spheres, 3 Blast Jugglers, 3 Beast Kings of the Swamp, 3 of every single card that just says has card text, kill your opponent's creature. This is a great answer to it, because your opponent stops defending with something and then takes 5,000 damage from your Arsenal Bug that hit it. Pretty good. A bunch of equips. Equips are really quick cards that increase power, so those are great. 3 Tears of the Mermaid. Another card that's just great for slowing your opponent down. Decreases attack power a whole lot, and then you can swing over their weakened card, which is great. And swinging over weakened cards, just usually with this deck, you're going to have something so strong you're probably going to hit for lethal. And then a Goblin Fan. This, I know Buryoku's banned. This just gets rid of all of the burn cards. Any burn card that is sent at you while you have Goblin Fan on active gets sent back to your opponent. So absolutely broken card. Even with Ruryoku banned, it's almost required just in case somebody plays a burn deck. And you don't want to deal with burn decks. Burn decks are awful to deal with. So let's take this thing out for a little spin, shall we? He's a good person to face off against first. He has a nice open field. Actually likes it when you change the field to forest. He doesn't care. So he doesn't play burn, so we can get rid of that. We can play Jowls here and potentially try to end the duel. At this point, the duel is absolutely over. There's not a single thing anything can do about this. Even Mirror Force isn't enough because you can just summon and kill them anyways. And on top of that, you can change of heart their Mirror Force. Also, don't change of heart your Jowls card. But yeah, absolutely broken. So, yeah, really, really strong. Who else? Ishtar's really annoying, usually. Also, if somebody made the format like a 1200 deck cost, you can make that work too. You could use more powerful cards. Take out the Larva of Moths for like Mimikats or something. Monster Reborns are super strong in decks like this. You can also play Darkness Approaches to reset Jowls. Go infinite with some other cards, you know. There's a whole lot of things you can do with decks like this to make them even stronger. One of the best things about this deck is it has so many options. Again, we have plenty of summoning power for Arsenal Bug, just because we played that one Tears of a Mermaid. And duel's over. We brought out 3 creatures, 4,000 plus attack in 4 turns. Plus we stunned an opponent creature, so we got to hit over it really hard. Yeah. Cards that I'm not really playing, I'm not playing Ancient Tree of Enlightenment or like Royal Decree or anything. Royal Decree is too expensive to really play in this kind of format. It's just so restrictive on deck cost. And then Ancient Tree, I'm playing too many monsters for cards like that, unfortunately. Definitely would consider putting an Ancient Tree in. You could put one in over the Larva Moth if you're really having issues with traps. This green cap is going to do the exact same thing as a Maneater Bug would have here, so that's probably a trap, actually. We'll just throw this in face-up defense. I don't want him to attack green cap at this turn. I'll let him attack it next turn. I am concerned that that's a trap. We'll go ahead and do this way. Yeah, that's a trap. You're playing 2 straight traps. You'd think you could play something stronger than a Chiron. It's an interesting card to get spellbound. Well, that's a trap. So, this is the part where we're just slightly aggressive and kill him. Again, this is 3, like, 5,000 attack creatures played on turn 4. Like, that's just what this deck kind of does, is make 5,000 attack beat sticks. And kills your opponent with them. Oh hey, a Great Moth. A card that is literally just entirely worse than the Perfectly Ultimate version. Because they're both 8 stars for some reason. Let's see. How about Yugi? Now this is a person that Ancient Tree of Enlightenment would do really great against. This is a perfect person for Larva of Moth. Now, this deck has so many threats that I'm not actually that worried about 3 Mirror Forces. Change of Heart's really good. You could also put triple Magician of Faith in this deck if you wanted to just recycle some of these really strong spells. I do have to be a little careful of cards like Spellbinding Circle. Ooh, Mirror Force. Okay. I should play around Mirror Force a little better than I did last turn, but that's okay. Jiragemo's effect is really, really strong. And the AI has absolutely no idea how to play around it. Or even understand what it does. I'm gonna face up defense that Pugum because it's so far away. Just throw this in defense. I'd like to get stuff away from my deck leader so he doesn't brain control it. Oh, sir. Oh, not great. Okay. I lose my Jiraigamo. All I need to do really is draw... Oh, that's the only monster he has on his field. Goblin Fin's useless against Yugi. There's a very real chance that he has Mirror Force. Okay, that's a monster too. Just face up defense Pupa. It's probably gonna die, but that's okay. I'll take a Great Maw. Oh, his AI broke. I'll put this in defense because I'm gonna attack this card. Cool. So we're done with 2 Mirror Forces. Oh, his AI is just done. Oh, it was a negate attack that broke his AI? Interesting. Goodbye. I'm surprised he didn't just attack my Mandator Bug. This is what stop defense is for, though. Goodbye. So as you guys can see, there's answers in this deck to almost everything. Slower matchups, you can get super value out of your larva of moths. So yeah, really strong deck. Let me know down below, guys, if you think this would be the kind of meta that would go, or the type of rules that would be put in place, like a three deck lineup with different types for deck leaders required for each. Once you lose with a single deck, you can't use it again. First to 3 wins. Or if it's the other type of format where same thing for three different decks, but once you win with the deck, you have to use a different one. First one to win 3 times wins. I definitely would ban Riryoku. I think you can leave in just about everything else. You probably want to move these to 50 deck cost. Especially with 1,000 deck cost limit. But otherwise, I would say 1,000 deck cost limit would probably be a good idea because it actually encourages diversity and discourages you from just putting like 3 Change of Hearts and 3 Brain Controls in every deck and 3 Mimikats, and that would get really, really awful. But let me know what you guys think. So thanks everybody for watching, and have a nice day.